So we're gonna show you how to do your competition hair and makeup for this year. Katie's gonna do my makeup and I'm gonna do her hair.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask myself or Liza, and we can always talk you through it at the competition or
we can help you too.
So I'm just gonna start with her face primer because this stuff should kind of sit for a second before you put on your foundation.
Oh, it smells like sunscreen.
Does it?
Huh?
Probably has sunscreen in it.
I mean, you're probably right. Like sunscreen and paint.
It probably has paint in it. One thing to keep in mind is that if you use products with sunscreen in it, they will wash you out in pictures. It's a fancy chemical called titanium dioxide. That's what, like, when the flash goes, that's what makes your face look super white in pictures. So if you're like, I'm gonna be taking pictures, you should pick a primer slash foundation slash whatever that doesn't have titanium dioxide in it, or like a sunscreen. Most of the reasons why we do half of this stuff is because we're going to be on stage under lights that will wash you out, and people will be looking at you from a very far ways away. So things are probably darker than you would do on a normal basis, more full coverage than you would do on a normal basis, and that's the point. So this is her eyeshadow primer. You can do it with your fingers just like your face primer. Okay, so we're gonna kind of work from the light to the dark, but I'm gonna start at the second color first. That's like the goldish color. Then we're gonna go to the copper, and then the dark brown, and then we'll come back to the bright one, okay? I'm gonna take a flat brush, kind of like this. I'm gonna dip it in the gold, and then I'm gonna put that on the center of her eyelid and work it into the inner corner. So from the inner corner and kind of dust it out. So we do that to both eyes, the center of the eye to the inner corner, and then you can kind of blend it into the outer corner. Blending is going to be your best friend. Now we're moving to the copper color, which is the third color in the palette. This one's going to be on the outer corner and then in. I'm not going to take it up all the way to her brow bone by any means. I'm going to keep it down low and blend it into the gold. Kind of what we've done so far. Ta-da! So it's lighter on the inside and darker on the outside. Then I'm going to take a rounded crease brush is what that's called, and we're going to move to the darkest brown color on the end. This is where it can start to feel kind of dark, and that's okay because we're on stage. That's the point. I'm going to do windshield wiper motions in her crease, which is the place, here, face the camera. I'm going to poke you.
Great.
It's the place where her eyelid, or her eyeball is in her socket. So the place where
my eye folds my skin.
That's where I'm putting my brush, is in that crease. This is another one of those places where blending is your friend. So I don't want any harsh lines or anything like that, but I still want it to be dark enough that it looks like I have makeup on.
I found that it helps. You can kind of see what Katie's doing, but she taps her brush on the edge after she puts some of the eyeshadow on, because otherwise you kind of get lots of chunks on it and it turns out way heavier than you want to, and you can always add more, but you can't take it off.
I'm gonna keep using the brown to darken it up as I go, but I'm gonna start with little and then work up to the darkness. The goal here is a kind of a gradient effect with your eyeshadow. So I'm really focusing the brown on the very outer corner and then blending that into the crease and into the copper color. Then if you want, you might notice that some of the gold and copper has come off in the process, so I'll just go back over the gold just to kind of freshen it back up, and same with the copper. So that's what we have so far.
Yay.
Don't put your palette away though. Okay, so now we're going to take the brightest color, the first one. I'm going to load that up onto my brush, and this is going to go right under her eyebrow and out. It doesn't necessarily have to start in at her nose. It's going to start at the arch of her eyebrow and out, and blend that in just like we have with everything else. Then I'm going to take it on the inner corner as well and blend that into the gold. So this is helping with that gradient light to dark.
Would you say if they're going to do their eyebrows and stuff, I like to darken my eyebrows especially on stage, which I recommend especially for you blonde, otherwise you might be eyebrowless on stage. Do you say do the highlighting before or after?
I think either way. If you end up doing it before and then you're like, oh shoot, I need to do my eyebrows, and then it ends up taking some of the white off, just redo it.
Again.
That's the finished eyeshadow. I'm gonna take, this is a kohl liner. You can use whatever eyeliner you want. I think we're recommending gel or liquid, just to give you the right amount of dark. This is just what I use, and and I'm used to it. This is an eyeliner brush, so it's angled and it's small, which will give me a lot of control with it. If you're nervous about eyeliner, I would recommend practicing at home. That will help. Makeup is just one of those things that you just practice until you're good at it. If it gets to competition time and you're like, I still don't really know what I'm doing, then come find somebody and we can help you with it. I'm just going to draw a line across the lash line, and the trick to eyeliner is A, taking your time, and B, doing small strokes. So don't try to take a line all the way across the eye, because that's when it just gets hard and lines become messy and stuff like that. But if you can go slow and just take little dashes. I also want you to not be afraid to kind of make a bigger line than maybe you're used to, because again, this is stage makeup, not your everyday going out shopping with your best friend's makeup. So it should look a little more dramatic, and this is what's going to help define your eyes against the bright lights. So I just want to make sure that the line goes all the way to the outer corner and all the way to the inner corner so that it's one straight line. Yeah, I feel like we will get some questions about it, so like don't worry about winging your eyeliner or anything like that. That is just far too complicated to have to try to teach everyone. So just do a nice thick line that goes all the way to the end.
Your fake lashes are going to cover most of the wing that you would have anyway, so it's just an extra step you don't have to worry about.
So now I'm going to take, before I do the bottom, because there's kind of some fallout from the glittery eyeshadows and stuff like that. So instead of doing foundation first, that's why I did eyes first. Now I'm going to take foundation. So if you're looking for a recommendation, the Urban Decay Naked Skin is a good one. Use whatever you have. How I'm going to apply it though is a beauty blender, this little squishy sponge guy. You can get him wet first and then squeegee him out. That will make him less absorbent, so he won't absorb all your foundation into the sponge. So I'm going to get foundation on the sponge first. You can put it on your hand. I'm going to then bounce this doop-a-doop-a-doop all over her face.
Or just keep it like this.
Or just keep, that's perfect. You really should think about getting all the way around the face and down the neck as well. There's nothing worse than seeing a girl who has really nice, pretty skin, but like her neck and her face are two opposite colors. So blend it down the neck and blend it into the ear and into your hairline. Make sure it's all nice and blended. Your normal skin color will look 3 shades lighter on stage. So a shade darker isn't going to hurt. So then this is a concealer. This is also the Naked Urban Decay concealer, but I'm gonna put this on underneath her eyes and extend that down towards the nose and out on top of the cheekbone. I'm making a triangle, an upside down triangle. I'm gonna put it on her nose, on her forehead, on her cupid's bow, which is the little bendy part of your lip, the chin. So you can see where I've kind of put it. Think of it as combating your contouring, which we'll get to in a minute. So this is gonna pull these areas forward, which is what we want. The upside down triangle is important. This will help with like under eye circles. So that's just a tip for life in general. And I'm extending it up against her cheekbone because that's where I again want that light to hit her. And you can also use it to kind of help clean up your eyeshadow, like the line across your eye. So I'm taking the other side in case you watched. This was the side that I used for the foundation. This is the side I'm using for the concealer because there's a point to it so it can get into those kind of detaily areas like right around her eyes and around her nose. So then I'm going to blend that out on her nose and up on her forehead, kind of over around the eyebrows. Anything that's liquid you have to set with powder. Because we pulled our foundation down onto our neck, make sure you set that as well. So now we're going to go back to the eyes. We're going to take the eyeliner. I would suggest a crayon or black eyeshadow. Well, I'm going to take this down underneath her eye. This is another one of those steps that some people might feel is too much. I promise you it's not. Because if I just left it like this without the under eye eyeliner, you wouldn't be able to see her bottom lid. Before I even show you the difference, I'm going to set this cream. I'm just going to go over her eyeliner. So you can even do this to the top eyeliner, and this is going to end up making it darker anyway. So in fact, I would recommend it. Now I'm going to go underneath her eye as well. If you feel like it's too harsh underneath your eye, take your finger and rub it up against it. That will just kind of soften it up. You can see this eye looks more defined. This eye is not nearly as defined. Her eyeliner's done. Yay! So for fake eyelashes, what I would do first is take the lashes, you'll bend them, and then you'll put glue, a thin line of glue on on the edge, the little band. And then when I go to put them on, I angle them upwards so that instead of the band coming straight at my eye, it's gonna go up and over my lashes, and then set it on there, and then you have to sit there and wait for it to dry. I would put on mascara first, so I mascara my eyelashes, put the glue on, wait for it to get tacky a little bit, stick it on, wait for them to dry, and then curl my lashes and the fake ones together so that there's not lashes poking out and lashes going up. For today, since we don't have lashes, I'm going to curl Liza's lashes first and then put mascara on. Trick to mascara, your lashes have two sides to them. I'm gonna do this side, but I'm also gonna come down from the other way to get the other side. That will darken them up. We're gonna go ahead and do the bottom ones just like we did bottom eyeliner. It doesn't have to be super dark, but it does help the definition. Her eyes are now done. So now we're gonna talk about contouring. This brown color is my contouring color. You heard me talk about the highlighting before with our concealer. This is the opposite of that. We're gonna hollow out the places that we want to look angular. The line that I want you to see is from the top of her ear to the corner of her lip. You don't have to draw the line all the way down there, but that's the angle. I'm gonna try to do it really dark and harsh first so you can see where the line is, but know that we're gonna blend it out. This is a contouring brush. It is helpful. It's not necessary. It's kind of curved and it's short and dense, which is gonna give me more control over it. It's not gonna be as dusty. To blend it out, I'm gonna think about blending it down versus blending it up, because if you blend it up, then you're going over that highlighting spot. So I'm gonna blend it down and then also blend it towards her mouth. So that's gonna kind of continue that line. Looking at the side of her face, you can see the shadow, but you can't see the line anymore. Unblended contouring never looks good. Other places to contour are the sides of the nose. I do like little angles and kind of at the bottom. That's creating that shadow underneath your nose and making the sides look a little bit slimmer. The other place is the temples. And then I'm going to take the brush and blend it up into the hairline, like across the forehead. This is the place where you can get really washed out, is by your hairline. This is darkening that so that you don't look bald. Last place that I'm going to tell you to contour is your jawline. So like right here down, your face doesn't blend into your neck. Last step is going to be a blush. We said you can use whatever blush you have.
Don't use a bright hot pink or red blush.
So like out of these choices, I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna pick this one.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it on the apples of her cheeks and pull it up towards her temple, kind of going in swirly motions up towards her brain. With blush, I want you to be a little more heavy-handed than probably you would be on the street, but I also don't want to see a gash of blush. That drives me bonkers. So now she has blush on.
Eyebrows are my favorite thing.
For Liza, with her hair color and everything, I'm gonna pick this brown to fill in her brows with.
Don't put black in your eyebrows ever. Yeah. You will look like you took a stick of charcoal and wiped it across your face.
So I'm gonna take that color and I'm gonna brush that color up through her eyebrows, kind of shaping them as I go.
It's nice to have darker eyebrows on stage because that's another thing that you will lose when stage lights turn on.
So now that she has product in there, a good way to kind of blend it together instead of having those little strokes is taking one of these eyebrow brushes, and this will also make all your eyebrow hairs go in the same direction.
You can also get brow gel that's gonna set your eyebrows in place, or also putting hairspray in them works pretty much just as well.
Lip liner is important. It's what keeps the lipstick on throughout the day. So I'm not just going to line her lips in it, I'm going to color it in as well. That allows for you to be able to like drink and eat, and your lipstick will be less likely to come off. A good way to get liner on is by doing a smile that makes your lips kind of tight across your teeth. That will help you get in all the little lines in your lips. This is the lipstick.
Yay!
Moral of the story with makeup is darker isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially for competition. There's going to be a lot of girls there with some crazy makeup on. This is actually honestly fairly tame in comparison. And I think it's a very classy, almost old Hollywood.
I was just gonna say, I feel like a Hollywood movie star, but in like the 30s.
Oh, we'll move on to the her.
Her!
Sometimes second or third day hair for like competitions is actually good because you have less flyaways.
This is like the best brush in the world. It's like $5. It's perfect for competition hair because it gets through all your tangles, but it doesn't really hurt you. If I were using a different brush, this would probably hurt a lot. Katie and I both have a variation of this brush and it's awesome. We're basically gonna do a slicked back high pony. First thing I'm gonna do is try and comb her hair all the way up to the crown of her head. You can flip your hair upside down. I'm not gonna have Katie do that just because we're in a video and that's hard. I like to do corner of the eye like we did with makeup and up. That's kind of where I put the ponytail. You can see this stuff. None of that. You don't want any of the little bumpies anywhere. You want as slick and clean as possible. If you have little wispies, you can hairspray as you go, but Katie has pretty even hair. Girls with thick hair, use multiple ponytail holders. Use 2, use 3. I don't care. Use as many as you need.
To keep your hair up while you're dancing.
What color ponytail holder should you use? Normally, I would say you must use one that's your hair color. Try and do that. But we're gonna do a fancy little thing to make this ponytail look prettier for stage. So if you forget, black is okay. No weird neon colors, because if anything sticks out, that's gonna look funny. Before I do anything else, we're gonna go in with the hairspray. You can use a comb if you have lots of bumpies. Katie doesn't really, so I just go in with my hand and just brush all the little flyaways back. We don't want any flyaways. We want this to look super slick, super clean, super classy. You say, oh no, I have a flyaway that sticks up. Use a bobby pin. This does have to be your hair color. This looks a little darker than it is, but it's a little more auburny. That's a good color for these like medium blonde hair types, especially because your hair gets darker when you hairspray it. Bobby pin the backs of your hair. You can see mine falls out and you don't want that to happen at all. You want to make sure that keeps straight up. Now we have this nice fancy ponytail. Something that you can do to make your hair not fall as much is, like I did with the back of my hair, I put a bobby pin down and then back, and it'll kind of hold your hair up in that like voluminous ponytail. We're also going to require that your hair is straight. I would really suggest not just straightening your ponytail. It'll make it a lot easier to get your hair into it, and it'll make it look slicker, because if you have curly hair going up, it's gonna be hard to tame. I'm gonna take under here just a little chunk, about that big, of hair, brush through it, and I'm gonna wrap it around the ponytail. Katie has long hair, so it's gonna go around a couple times. If I were to go all the way around, it would stick out the front. So you don't want that to happen. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin it in the back first. I'm angling this down and then pushing it in. There are so many ponytail holders in this that it is very hard to do. If you have a little wispy that comes over here, you can pin it on the side. You'll just be able to pin that down like this. If that feels not secure enough with just one bobby pin, do multiple. Totally fine. Now that this is there, look at how pretty it is. Wow. I'm just gonna get really, really close and spray. Look, there's like a white foam around it. Spray and comb. You want this to feel rock solid because you do not want this to come out. Bobby pins are your best friend, as is hairspray. Got to be glued is my favorite. It is literally like hair glue.
Mr. Alec uses it for his hair.
Yes, Mr. Alec uses it all the time.
Every day.
Awesome. So you can see it's pretty slick. Get all your wispies out of the way. Both of us can help. It's not super hard. It just takes some practice. If your hair is too short to be in a ponytail, we're gonna do a half up, half down kind of thing. Ears diagonally back, and you're gonna do the same slick kind of thing. I'm gonna try and get a straight line. I don't have a good brush for this, but use a comb to do this instead of your fingers. I use a ratting comb. I use that to get a really straight line, just because since it is gonna be so slick, you probably will see the line. I'm gonna do the same thing I did. Brush it all the way back. Ponytail is at the same place, but it is half up, half down. I'll do the fancy little trick. You want to take the top part of the ponytail with your bobby pin. You have to be careful because you can see how it kind of like bubbles her hair up, but then I stick it backwards. And look at that!
Wow!
Her ponytail stays straight up.
I'm gonna start doing that.
And look at when you like fountain out your hair, it looks really pretty. You're gonna have to take a smaller chunk because you're gonna have less hair. You're gonna do the same thing, wrap around. I'm not gonna pin this one as excessively. And I'm gonna go back in with my spray. Something you can do also that I like to do is at the very top, I take this top layer, fan it on out, and I back comb it just a little bit because sometimes you just need a little extra volume. So there you go.